experiences. Get out of your confines, get out of your boundaries, get out of your tent, get out of Uganda. If you stay in Uganda too long, you will begin to think like a Ugandan, and being a Ugandan is not bad, but thinking like a Ugandan is a problem. Because because before you know it, you will think there is no help until the government has arrived. So,
but let's qualify that, because Ugandans might think we are not in for them. It applies to a Kenyan. It applies to a Rwandese.
It does apply to Kenyan. Yeah. If you think like a Kenyan, then you will be stuck. You will think it's about whether you are pro Kikuyu or the other side.
Yeah.
If you're Tanzanian, you will think everything is in Swahili, and beyond that, there is no life. If you're thinking like a South Sudanese, then So there's something that is in your locality that is actually locking you up.
Whoa.
That you need to have experiences outside your locality to unlock something in your personal brand. So that's the ICE: information, connection, and experiences.
Nice. Absolutely nice. Couldn't have been. That's the voice of none other than Mr. Ariho Kamara. I had a conversation with him. He is the co-founder and group CEO of Nomad Advertising Limited, a continental advertising, branding, communications consultancy and design agency based in Uganda with presence in Rwanda and Ghana. He has over 20 years experience in the advertising, branding and communications industry, over which he has contributed to some of the biggest and fastest growing brands in numerous sections, including aviation, banking, behavioral change, communication, fast-moving goods, that is FMCG, telecommunications, and also publishing. He was featured in 2017-2016 exclusive club of top 40 Ugandans under 40, a survey conducted by the Vision Group. He's an author and a certified John Maxwell trainer, a speaker and a coach, a brand consultant, and a leader in business, church, and community. He holds a Bachelor's of Commerce Marketing from Makerere University, Kampala, and an MBA in Strategic Marketing and an MA in Digital Media from London Metropolitan University in the UK. He's privileged to serve on the Governing Council Business and Development Committee of the Institute of Petroleum Studies Kampala, IPSK, and also on the Development Task Force of ROTOM, Reach Out Touch One Ministries, a non-profit organization that is dedicated to meeting the spiritual, physical, psychological, and social needs of the elderly and children under their care in Uganda and Ethiopia. Together with his wife Vasta, they serve on the eldership of Worship Harvest Ministries International, a multi-campus non-denominational church, blessed with 2 daughters, Skylar, 10, and Shona, 7, and a son, Salem Rain, who is 2 years of age. I had a discussion with Ariho Kamara on the subject of branding, which we are handling in this year, and I thought that it will be beneficial to you even as you begin this year in this first quarter to mind your brand, to live your brand, and to grow your brand. I hope you're going to be excited as I was with this conversation. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Whatever place it is that you're tuned on to Life Signatures podcast. This is Lawrence Namale and I'm hosting you today, and in this month we are having conversations about strategizing on our brands. Anything to do with our personal brands, our small company brands and SME brands and whatever it is, we're talking about branding in this month. And it is so exciting to have an author in that particular space, Ariho Kamara. Bro, do you have another name that is, Christian, English, all that stuff?
No, I don't. I go by the name Ariho Kamara only because I'm African. So I can't have an English name.
Are you sure you did not change your names at some point in time?
No, I didn't. I am born to very Pan-African parents who raised us up to be lovers of the continent, and hence the names. My names are very meaningful. If you've read one of my books, Live Your Brand, I really talk about how that's the first level of branding for anyone. It's your name, and the meaning of the names itself is prophetic.
Yeah.
So I am present, and I'm a person who sees things to the end. So I finish everything I start at. Because it's in my DNA as a child of God. So that's.
We're talking to people from different countries here, and you are from Uganda. The names
yes,
Ariho Kamara.
Yes.
What do they mean to begin with?
Well, put together, it simply says he is present, the author and finishing. Yes.
Nice. I'm guessing.
Yes.
Let me just go ahead and guess that you have done the same thing with your kids in terms of their naming.
I have with the silent names.
Right.
The other names, I lost the battle to my wife because before we got married, I think she had ideas of her own.
Exactly.
So
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yes.
Okay, so welcome to Life Signatures podcast. It's good to talk to you today in this 2023 January.
It's always a pleasure, Lawrence, talking to you anytime, even when I bump into you.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure talking to you. So, thanks for thinking about this conversation at the beginning of the year. I think it's it might help me clarify some of the things I'm thinking about this very year.
Awesome. Okay, so let's just get right into it, Ariho. You've done 2 books basically about branding, right? Are those 2 books about branding?
Right.
Both of them?
They are about branding, yes. Personal branding, yes.
Okay, great. So in a nutshell, you are a practitioner in that particular area, as in you're a go-to person.
Yes, I am.
All right.
Yes,
which kinds of people do you help? Are these people, individuals and small organizations, SMEs, big organizations, the whole 9 yards? What kind of people do you deal with?
Well, it's interesting that you should use the word people.
Yeah.
Previously, we did branding for organizations because, seeing the evolution of branding, starting from, the agrarian society that we had, and where the word branding gets born because people had to brand their cattle in order not to mix up flock.
Yeah.
That's where the word brand comes from, where they would burn a piece of metal with a signature on it, and burn to the hide of a cow to make it different from the others, because people are now doing livestock en masse. And then we moved to the industrial revolution, where we now created products like Coca-Cola or like Renzori water, and we needed to differentiate them. We needed to differentiate which cola it is. Is it Coca-Cola or Pepsi Cola?
Right.
And that is where branding actually also took a turn, And then we moved into the information age, which is the third industrial revolution, where we saw a lot of rise of trademarks and intellectual property. And right now we are moving into AI, which is artificial intelligence, the fourth industrial revolution that is upon us. If you've had the chance to look at ChatGPT and see what it's doing, that it's really curating information from here and there. And right now, the only way you can authenticate information is by having a face attached to it. So the future of branding is personal, and that's where we are transitioning to. So previously we did a lot of branding for organizations and businesses, but we've seen a lot of business coming through and a lot of individuals coming and saying, I would like you to clean up my image and help me stand out as a brand.
Awesome stuff. Do you see any semblance or any importance of this personal branding to businesses?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you look at the handle of Elon Musk and the Twitter handle of Tesla, they have different followings. And as we've been learning, we very well know that you don't start a business for the business to make you money, but you start a business for the business to manifest the money that is on the inside of you. So the leader is the number one asset in the business. So the person that starts the business is the core asset to the business. I mean, it doesn't matter what business you lead. If your credibility as an individual, loses, crashes, then everything you're touching is faulty stock. No one is going to buy in some way or form. Unless you've really built systems and distance yourself from the business.
So that's one of the important aspects of branding, right? And that being the case, what would you say today that people should do in terms of personal branding? I mean, do I need to be an Elon Musk? Do I need to be a CEO? Who needs a personal brand in this day and in this age?
Well, I'll tell you that we all have a certain level of authenticity to us, and any brand really stands on the legs of authenticity. Because we've had so many copycat brands, thanks to China. You have seen a Philips and a Philips who look quite similar.
Nokia and Nokia.
But and Skioni, or a Q. So I think brands by their very nature stand on one thing, which is authenticity. And I think because everything that was made by God has its own unique feature. I want to use the word signature for signature. Like signatures. So everything that was given life by God has its own signature.
Awesome.
And that is the signature that, if you find it and fan it out, then creates the brand that you ultimately become.
So branding is not something that started with the internet and all that stuff. It's something that started with creation, right?
I mean, from the beginning, God branded male and branded female. Actually, the very first exercise that Adam was given was a branding exercise. He said, go.
Whoa.
You see?
Whoa.
We start from Genesis.
You guy. I had never looked at it from that particular angle. That's interesting. It's very, very interesting.
Cool. I mean, everything really starts from creation and from how God has designed everything. Like when He says, "Let us make man in our own image, in our own likeness," He's talking about the authenticity that He wants us to bear, the brand that we are carry. I mean, you can't say if you've seen, all these copycat brands are trying to bear the image or the likeness of something that they are not.
Yeah.
That's it.
I hear you. Now, let's talk business for a minute. What is the place for branding in business? Whether you are running your own business as an individual or you are in a corporate organization, what's the place for branding in business?
I mean, branding is everything. Branding does not only differentiate your business, but it actually gives you something worth dying for. If Coca-Cola, for example, gave you all their plant and equipment and denied you their brand, all you would have is something you can call Riham Cola. Yeah, you can produce lots of Riham Cola because Riham Cola has the plant and equipment that Coca-Cola has. What Riham Cola doesn't have that Coca-Cola has is the brand. Whoa. Yeah. So in the place of business, it's everything.
Whoa. Even at a personal level today, it's that critical, isn't it?
That's it. It's like I said, AI can generate. I mean, I was listening to a video forwarded to me recently where someone was talking about how, you know, he asked the chatbot to generate a paper, and he said he could have as well written it himself.
Yes.
But it was generated by a chatbot. And I think we are going to see the rise of that, a lot of that going forward. But right now, for you to pick up a book, it's no longer more about the information in the book, but it's the credibility of the author that gives the book meaning. I mean, look at the Bible. At the Bible. The Bible is a book like any other. The only thing that makes the Bible the most selling book is the author. Anyone could have written the words that Harry wrote, but it's because of the experience of the author and him writing his books that have made the book sell and go off the shelves. So people are looking into the authenticity of the brand.
There you go.
So it's really at the heart and the core of everything.
There you go. So let me ask you this question, Ariho. In your life, at what point in time did you decide that it's gonna be branding for me? I'm gonna be known as the branding guy. Are there other things? What was your path until you got to where you are in terms of helping people with their personal brands and helping organizations with their branding? What was the journey for you?
Well, my journey is a roller coaster, I must say, but it all starts in a space of serving and really I did a job that I was very passionate about because I started off as a graphics designer in my senior 6 vacation. And it was interesting how many people wanted to see the creations that came from the inside. So they described what they wanted, and for you to interpret that and put it down, and people say, well, that looks good. That looks like, you know, what I was envisioning.
Or even better.
Yeah, or even better. That began a journey, really, creating something out of nothing. And then, you know, it just took a turn, and more than making me some money, it became something that I lost track of time doing. And I think if there's anything that I have, paid, dollars into in my life,
to study,
that's one of the things to study. That's one of them. Because this is for the very first time. This is a course that I didn't ask for money from my parents. This is a course that I worked for the money and willingly paid. One of the first courses. And as time has gone on, I've gotten to realize that, we need to invest more in ourselves than our parents, possibly, because no one can love you more than yourself. And I keep telling people that if you look back and all the information and the learning you have had, someone else has taken the bill, then you possibly don't love yourself enough. So this is one of those things that, has not only taken my time, it has taken my money, it has taken my energy, and I think I don't know. I could just say maybe the word branding came into the picture along the way. But what I thought I was at the time was expressing myself in a way that I had just discovered, which was unique. Maybe Lawrence, I'll just share this. I wasn't your typical A student. Yeah, and I got to understand later in life that the A students are not creatives because they know how to regurgitate what has been given to them. The B's, no, not even the B's, the C's and D students are the ones who are always giving something different from what the teacher expected on the answer sheet. So I was one of those guys, and I think it's that creativity that then comes out and finds itself, wrapped up in this thing that we now call branding.
I see. So let me ask you this: what other course is that you were taking? The one that your parents were paying for?
Oh yeah, that was my dad's course. I did a BCom. I did a BCom marketing. My dad was expecting a BCom accounting degree, but in the final semester of the final year is when he discovered he was going to get a marketing degree, because he was beginning to tell me how he had some of his friends at KPMG and asked who he wanted to talk to see if I could start gearing up for an internship. But that's when I broke the news to him that I'm doing the marketing option and I am actually pursuing something totally different that I'm passionate about.
Was he disappointed?
Well, I think he wasn't too disappointed because my dad's philosophy was the first degree is to prove that you're not stupid. And if you get a master's, then it means that you can read and write and analyze a few things. So when I told him I was moving on from my bachelor's degree and going to do a postgrad in the stuff that I loved, it kind of made up for whatever disappointment he would have had.
I hear you. So today, if you talk to him, is he happy that you took that tangent?
Oh yes. My dad is super excited. I've just helped him to finish his 4th book.
Whoa.
He's also an author, so he's finished his 4th book, Making Cooperatives Work.
Whoa.
And it's a really huge book that we put some time into it. I helped him work on his autobiography, Leading, Learning, and Legacy. And also he also published a book, Still Here, which was memoirs about my late brother who passed away and left a lot of writing that we compiled into a book for posterity and for his children who never really got time to interact with him, to have a written account of their dad. So we've done so many projects together, and he kind of sees where I channeled my passion. So I think he's an excited man that it's going well.
Nice. Your story is very inspiring. The marketing became useful into the branding, right?
It did. Yeah, it did. I think I was always full of talking growing up. I got to learn later on in life that there is an ingredient. There is something that is called grit.
Yes. And
because we don't understand grit, sometimes we say kids who have grit, kids who are adventurous, are termed as stubborn and unbecoming because they do not easily conform to what we want them to do. So I discovered that when I decided to do something, even after I'd been discouraged, I really tried and stayed the course. So these things really make sense in hindsight now. But when you're in the thick of things, it's just not funny.
I hear you. Cool. So let's move on from that and just learn some things. You've got 2 books, and I'm giving you an opportunity right now to summarize your first book. What is the title of your first book?
Well, my first book is Live Your Brand.
Live Your Brand.
The subtitle, Live Your Brand. Yeah, you're designed to stand out. Don't try to fit in.
I can sense a message of uniqueness, that everyone is unique. And so
the signature.
Yes, I can sense it. So if you're to summarize the book to us and tell us what were you communicating in that particular book?
Okay, in that particular book, it's to say the things that make you awkwardly weird and funny amongst your peers are the things that define you and make you unique. So rather than see them as hindrances to your growth, hindrances to your development, find out where they are appreciated and celebrated, and in there lies your breakthrough.
So instead of trying to become like your peers and do what your peers are doing, do you, be you.
Do you, live your brand, do you.
This is now 2023 and that message is still reverberating. How old is this book?
Well, this book came out in 2017. 17,
And the message is still valid today, isn't it?
And one of my mentors, the late Dr. Miles Monroe, said something. Everyone else is taken. You can only be you.
Be yourself. You're right.
Yes. So that's primarily what the book's about.
Okay. And the book is still available. People, if people wanted to get it, they can get it.
Oh yes, it's on Kindle. It's on Amazon. It's on. It's. I think there are some copies in Aristoc and all good bookstores in Uganda.
Okay.
And for those who are not in Uganda, you can find it online. Thanks to Jeff Bezos.
Okay. Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
You should also put it on African Books, africanbooks.com.
I'm happy to have it there. I'll be having a conversation with you after this, so we can. We can start. Oh, it's also on Jumia, so you can order it on Jumia.
Okay, nice stuff. The second book. Let's talk about the second book.
Wow, the second book is called Mind Your Brand. Yes, and really it's saying you're having the courage to think and the audacity to speak.
Right.
That is how you mind your brand.
The courage to speak, to think, and the audacity to speak.
That's right.
So what are you thinking and what are you speaking? I mean, what should I think? What should I speak?
As a man thinks in his heart,
so is he.
So is he, yes. Yeah. Now, when you think it in your heart, if you think you're great, if you think you can do it, have the courage to speak it. That way, you're minding your brand.
I hear you. I see it. It's kind of like helping people to, how can I put it? It's kind of like helping people to really be bold enough and represent who they really are, regardless of what they think other people might say.
Correct.
Nice.
Correct. Yeah.
So Ariho, It's 2023 and it's January and so on. I know we're talking in January, but this podcast is going to be live maybe later on.
Right.
Still in the new year, but the point I'm asking is this: are there some elements of a personal brand that you advise people to mind about or to take note of if they were designing their own personal brand? Are there some quick elements you can be able to share with us?
Yeah, I think I normally use plants or crops to illustrate this, right? We know that a tree has what we call a root system.
Yeah.
It has a shoot system. And all that is meant to support the fruit system.
Nice.
Yeah. So as a brand, you take care of the root system because it is the root system. You know, when the roots are faulty, it's very difficult that you have a stable plant, because if it easily gets uprooted, then it's going to wither and die. But if the roots are deeply set, then you have a very strong tree that is going to last generations, and that's what we want our brands to be. And maybe just to preempt this, I'm working on my third book. Whoa. And the third book is entitled Grow Your Brand. And
Nice.
It's exactly what you just asked me, and it talks about the three systems.
Right.
The root system, the shoot system, and the fruit system.
I see.
Yeah. So that, yeah.
I can easily guess that every system is broken down into its constituent parts. The root system has its
Correct.
parts. The shoot system, is it the shoot or the stem? The shoot system has its
Yeah,
parts.
I'll call it the shoot system. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the fruit system has its parts. For the most part,
That's correct.
Ariho, you and I have been in the Christian circles. For the most part,
Correct.
At the beginning of the year, we are always in the business of declaring the fruit system. But
This is the year of fruitfulness.
this is the year of fruitfulness. This is the year of God's favor. This is the year of this and this is the year of that.
Yeah.
So what you're telling us is that by the time you're declaring those stuff, you should have a fruit, I mean a root system in place. And you should have a shoot system in place. So if you're only declaring and you don't have those systems in place, you can forget about the fruits. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, you're going to eat other people's fruit, not your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So let us talk, even as we're coming to a close of this episode of ours. Let us talk if at all you have some pointers in terms of someone is sitting in 2023. They are hearing Ariho for the very first time, and Ariho is telling them that your brand is everything. Your authenticity is everything. Your fruit system is going to come from your brand. And they're wondering, what in the world can I do to strategize for my brand as a person going forward? What can I do to strategize for it? What would you tell them? 5 steps, 6 steps, 2 steps, 3 steps? What can they do?
Okay. There are actually 3 things that they need to do.
Okay.
And my spiritual leader and spiritual father and my pastor has coined them into an acronym as ICE or ICE.
ICE.
So all you need is ICE.
Right.
Wow. The I is for information. Take in as much information as possible in the areas, in the subjects that you want to become a master at, or in having a self-awareness of where your uniqueness and your authenticity is.
Yeah.
Study about it and become a master at it.
Yeah.
So have lots of information. So read books, listen to TED Talks, listen to podcasts, attend seminars. Okay?
Yeah.
That's the I.
Right.
The C is in the connection. Which people are you connecting with? Connect with people in the same space, people who are headed somewhere in the area where you think your gifting is. Find them and connect with them. Okay?
Yeah.
That is the C. And the E is experiences. Experiences. Get out of your confines, get out of your boundaries, get out of your tent, get out of Uganda. If you stay in Uganda too long, you will begin to think like a Ugandan, and being a Ugandan is not bad, but thinking like a Ugandan is a problem. Because because before you know it, you will think there is no help until the government has arrived. So,
but let's qualify that, because Ugandans might think we are not in for them. It applies to a Kenyan. It applies to a Rwandese.
Yeah, it does apply to Kenyan. Yeah. If you think like a Kenyan, then you will be stuck. You will think it's about whether you are pro-Kikuyu or the other side.
Yeah.
If you're Tanzanian, you think everything is in Swahili, and beyond that, there's no life. If you're thinking like a South Sudanese, then, so there's something that is in your locality that is actually locking you up.
Whoa.
That you need to have experiences outside your locality to unlock something in your personal brand. So that's the ICE: information, connection, and experiences.
Nice. Absolutely nice. It couldn't have been better. So even as we're coming to a close here, are there any stories that you've seen that have really captivated you in your work as a brand strategist, either for individuals or for companies or whatever it is? Maybe these things that you studied, are there stories that really cement the fact that a brand is a critical tool in this day and in this age?
Oh yeah, there is. So towards the end of last year, maybe mid last year, I linked up with a friend, someone I had met many years ago, with whom we have a mutual friend, and we began to think about opening in another country. It had been something that was in our mind, but we didn't know how.
Yeah.
So we linked up with a gentleman from Ghana.
Whoa.
Who'd actually lived in Uganda, lived in Rwanda, worked in Nigeria, and now he was in Ghana running a successful business. And we began to talk about how we could partner to, open in that part of the world.
Yeah.
And fast forward to 2023 or 2022, towards the end, we had presence in Ghana as well. And it's because of the work that this gentleman has done in his area of expertise.
Yeah.
So he started a fintech that has gone on to be one of the most successful on the continent. And he liked the story of Nomad and drew a lot of similarities with the story of his business. And he was willing to say, guys, bring your business to Ghana, let us partner here, and let's fan out the authenticity from his business that who is now our client number one in West Africa, Ghana. And I think his story is very inspiring. This is someone who's barely had no money to live on, but continued to chase the dream. And I would say he's not too shabby financially, but also I like his thought process.
Right.
If there's something that I've learned from him in the recent times, is he talks a lot about being consistent.
Wow.
Now, being consistent is not an easy thing. It's saying I am the way I am when you come on a rainy day like today, and when you come on a sunny day like it will be tomorrow. I am consistent, right? But that doesn't mean that I don't get wet. That doesn't mean that sometimes I don't feel too dry, but I am consistent. And I think that is what the heart of branding is. The reason why in branding we also create what we call a brand guideline is to say, every time you see the MTN yellow, you're not confusing it with another yellow. Every time you see the Airtel red, you're not confusing it with another red. It's a consistency in how you appear that makes your brand gain traction. So it means that you can adapt, you can change, you can mutate, but you remain consistent in sticking true to the values of your life. So for me, the gentleman whose name is Andrew Techi up here has been one of those stories that have been a highlight, and learning from him and doing business with him has been amazing.
Awesome stuff. I need to talk to him at some point in time, and I think you can help us have that discussion. But you just talked about the brand guides. I don't know.
Right.
Is there something that we can learn in terms of personal branding when it comes to brand guides? Because I've always thought that this is for organizations. Does that also apply to me as an individual? Do I need a brand guide?
You do need a brand guide. I think brand guides, when it comes to personal branding, is basically values. What do you stand for? If I found you in you had been rounded up and they said this is a group of people who have stolen something, will I doubt that testimony? Because I know the values you stand for. Have you projected them in a way that makes them synonymous with you? I mean, if there's anything, like you said, we are both from Christian circles. If there's anything that I have gotten to appreciate is that everything we do and everything that is of us is growing in the character and competence of Jesus. Right? That everything is constantly growing to live up to the character and competence of Jesus. Can you do what Jesus would do? Can you behave the way Jesus would behave? Okay? Now, do we fail sometimes? Oh yes, we do. But along the way, you begin to build the muscle and to gain the testimony that you are then growing in the character and in the competence of Jesus, which makes you a brand that has stood centuries, like his brand. If I may put it that way.
Talk of consistency. That guy's brand is the most consistent brand ever. As in, winds have come, winds have gone, centuries have come, centuries have gone, but the brand is the same.
Theories have come and theories have gone.
Yes.
But the brand is consistent.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. So, Ariho, my friend, even as we are closing this finally, I'm thinking there could be some do's and don'ts for people in terms of their personal branding this 2023 and beyond. What can you share with us as far as that is concerned?
Well, let me say 2023, one of the do's that I would really encourage people to take on is to find someone to follow. Yes, we are all unique in our being. We are all unique. I am the advocate of saying do you and everything, but in doing you, there is someone who has done what you have done, and you don't need to dig that road afresh. Be humble enough to say, I need someone to lead me. I need someone to guide me. I need someone to hold my hand. That's one of the things that I can give out to people. Find someone to follow.
Nice.
That's it.
Okay. How about the don'ts?
The don'ts, on the contrary, is don't be too rigid. Let yourself, just flow. Don't try to force you to be what you're not. So if you find someone to follow, then it means that you are going to possibly know what not to do because you know what to do. I mean, the reverse works itself out.
I see.
Remember when we were doing multiple objectives?
Yes.
Multiple objectives.
Yes.
You might not have known the answer.
Yes.
But if you knew what the answer was not,
yes,
it
you
was
eliminate
for you. Yeah, you can use the elimination method. So the don'ts should lead you to the do's.
Right.
Just like the do's protect you from the don'ts. Yeah.
Awesome. So now, there's someone who is listening to Ariho Kamara here, and they would like to authenticate themselves. They would like to clean their brand or something like that. Maybe it's on social media or whatever it is, and they want your services. They want you to help them. By the way, let me ask you this.
Right.
Do you help even families? As in, I'm a guy, I have a wife, we have 2 kids, we don't have a brand. Can Ariho help us?
Well, I think, like I said, the head of the home needs to define the brand. So that conversation will be with the head of the home. Might not be with the family, with the entire family.
Okay.
But yeah, we are happy to have conversations. My social handles are at Ariho Kamara on everything. I am the only one globally with those 2 names in that order.
Let's spell the names for the people.
Yeah, it's Ariho Kamara.
Right.
So it's very easy. You'll find me on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. And the good news is this entire period I am away from a few of the social media, but Twitter I remain active because I'm doing some work for some clients, so I need to remain on it. But the other social media until February, for the month of Jan, I haven't been indulging on social as I often do. So yeah.
Awesome.
But they can follow me, they can drop me a DM.
So that includes individuals, families, small-time organizations, SMEs, big-time organizations, corporations.
Everyone is big time. It's just that they haven't
right.
open to that fact. But yeah, they can drop me an email and I'll respond. If they want work and to be responded to quickly, then they can just go to the website for the business, which is thenomad.agency, and drop an email to Uganda if they're in Uganda. If they're in Rwanda, then they'll drop the email to Rwanda, which is info, and if they're in Ghana, it would be Ghana at thenomad.agency, and someone will definitely respond to them. It might not be me, but someone will definitely respond to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ariho, for taking some time today from your busy schedule to talk to us here about personal branding and the importance of it and the ins and outs. We are looking forward to the Grow Your Brand book. Is it coming out this year?
Well, I am hoping it will be out this year. I have a couple of assignments that may disrupt me, but in 12 months, I think we should have it out on the shelves and putting out these ideas. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. We wish you all the best in doing that. You've already done it twice, so I don't think this is going to be any hurdle. And you already have broken it down. So I look forward to reading more about growing my brand. It's a permanent issue, as in branding. We can never grow out of branding. We can never, as in, move away from the message of branding. It started in Genesis, remember?
That's true, and this is what is interesting, that they are good brands and they are bad brands.
Yeah.
we are advocating for the good brands.
Exactly.
Everyone is a brand.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking to Ariho Kamara, who is the founder of the Nomad company. He is dealing with branding, personal branding. He is an author in the same. Actually, he's done 2 books and is on the 3rd book, which is coming out sometime soon. Check him out on social media at Ariho Kamara, either on Twitter, on Facebook, or on Instagram, even on LinkedIn, I hope so. And also check out his website. What is your website again? thenomad.agency.
That's right.
thenomad.agency, and then you're going to find every data that you need about that. This year, mind your brand, live your brand, and grow your brand. Ladies and gentlemen, we come to the close of this episode. Until another time, bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you, Lawrence.
Thank you too.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.